Hi, my name is Ally Keegan, and I'm a criminal defense attorney at the law office of David Shapiro in San Diego, where we help good people regain control of their future when charged with a crime. I want to talk about three quick things to be careful of when you get a traffic ticket, because a lot of times if you get pulled over and you get a quick ticket and then the law enforcement lets you go, a lot of people think it's no big deal, and sometimes they're correct. But occasionally it can come back to bite you down the road because there are consequences that you didn't necessarily know about ahead of time. So I want to dive into three common ones so you have an idea of what to keep an eye out for. The first one is you need to know that some traffic tickets can be charged not just as infractions where you pay it and that's kind of the end of it, but also as misdemeanors. Common ones would be driving over 100 miles an hour or driving on a suspended license. And certain things that might not feel like a big deal to you could actually be charged as either an infraction or a misdemeanor. And if you just plead guilty to it and you pay the fine, you might actually be admitting to a criminal conviction that you might need to disclose later on. And unless you know exactly what you're getting into when you're dealing with your ticket, you don't want to fall into that trap by accident. So the second thing you want to look out for is whether whatever ticket you got, it involves some sort of mandatory license suspension. So if you, again, just kind of pay your ticket, admit to it, you want to make sure you're not accidentally going to catch a 30-day license suspension or something like that, especially because if you're paying a ticket to begin with, one, it's going to cost you some money, but two, you're probably going to need to get back and forth to work. You're going to need to drop your kids off at school or get them back from childcare. And in this day and age, your license is incredibly important just to get by. So you want to make sure that no traffic offense you pick up has any sort of mandatory suspension that it carries that you don't know about ahead of time and can at least plan for. So that's another thing where if you think you might be on the fence, it's worth contacting a reputable and well-qualified criminal defense firm to give you that knowledge ahead of time so you can make an informed choice about how to move forward with your ticket. And then the final thing you want to be mindful of with a traffic ticket would be if you're currently on probation, it might constitute a probation violation. And this applies whether you're on informal probation, which would more likely than not be for an old misdemeanor, or formal probation if you had picked up a felony or something like that. Now, most of the time, when you are sentenced on, say, your old misdemeanor or felony, your sentence is going to involve the condition that you violate no laws. And there's actually a little box in San Diego that they often check off saying minor traffic offenses are accepted, meaning they don't count. It won't count as a probation violation. But what is a minor traffic offense to you might not necessarily be minor to the court. So if you pick up a traffic offense, and again, you're like, it's a ticket, it doesn't matter, but it actually does qualify as more than a minor offense to the court, it could be a probation violation where they bring you back to court and they try to punish you for picking up that new offense. And it's something where it's much easier to consult with a defense attorney that's handled these types of matters before. That will help guide you through that process so you know what you're doing before you admit to anything. It's much easier to do that than it is to try to do it on your own, maybe accidentally get it wrong, and then have to undo that down the road when you've already been violated and brought back to court. So there are three quick things that you want to be sure of when you're handling your traffic ticket in San Diego County or California at large. If you are facing a ticket that you think might kind of be in that gray area where you're not totally sure what the consequences might be, go ahead and reach out to our firm. Our phone number is 619-295-3555, and we can set up a consultation to help advise you through the process.